What was a super popular kids toy that everyone just forgot about? Crazy Bones. Personally, I've never stopped thinking about them. I love your username. I still want moon shoes. I could just drive to your house and break your ankles. It would be more efficient. This is pretty much on par with what my dad told me when I asked for them for Christmas. Mighty Beans. It was super niche, but the fact they had rarities made them addicting to collect. Maybe I'm just trying to justify my container full of the Mighty K lol. I had some of those. I never really understood what the point of them was though. Those little robot dogs. They were silver with either blue ears or pink ears, and they had a bone and somehow these little robot things could do backflips. I think it was called Poochie or something lol. Virtual pets never die. They just go through iterations. First you had Furbies. From hell. Then Gigapet/Tamagotchi. This was followed by Poochie. Then Nintendogs. Hell, this hit all in like a 10-year period. Pet toys will always be a thing. In 2077, we'll have Jedi Buttercup on the market. And still no Cyberpunk. Anybody remember Litter Bright? Back in the early 90s I'd play with one every night with the one use papers it came with. Such great memories. I hated single-use items with toys. As a kid I always hesitated to use one-off items because I never knew when my parents would have the time/money to get new ones. As a result I had a bunch of toys that I never wound up using properly because I didn't want to run out of the disposable pieces. Now if my kids get toys that use disposable things I buy a huge stack of the item so they can use it without reservation. Holy yes, you just described a repressed part of my childhood. Polly Pockets. The super tiny ones. Whenever I hear someone wish that the original pocket-sized Polly Pocket would return, I just think of the time I lodged Polly up my 3-year-old nose causing my dad to need to pull her out with tweezers. And then I remember that I'm part of the reason they stopped making those dolls so small. I tried to make the cases necklaces for some reason. Oh, they sold them that way. With those dumb little plastic nesting clasps on the strings that only worked the first 5 times you put them together. Those pellets that, when you put them in water, they turn into animals. They still sell those at the dollar store. I picked up a pack of the dinosaur shaped ones recently for the nostalgia. 10/10ths would turn pills into animals again. Skip it. RIP my ankles. The Flying Barber's Fairy BS. With the famous video of it going straight in the fire. That video is too sad for me. I get that adults are laughing at the absurdity of it going straight in like that. But imagine being that little kid. It's Christmas or your birthday or whatever. It's a special day. You get this beautiful doll and it can really fly. It's like magic. You play with it for the first time. Captivated by it. And immediately your good dream turns into a nightmare. To be fair, it's basically the same experience with all those flying toys. They're really fun and amazing at first, but they rarely last longer than a day. Water Wiggler. Also known as a water snake. Those things are weird. You'd shake and squeeze them, and they'd slip out of your hand. There wasn't really any object to playing with it. Good for stimming, or just occupying restless hands. A ton of people have apparently tried to use those as makeshift flashlights during their childhoods. I spent an embarrassingly long time staring at your comment trying to understand why/how someone would try to make a flashlight out of one of these toys. Stretch Armstrong. Now this one I truly forgot about. How could I have forgotten Stretch? I remember a second one with Docker hair came out too. I had both. Silly bands. They got so popular my elementary school had to ban them once gangs and a black market economy with IRL money started forming. Along those lines. Live Strong bracelets. For about a year, everyone had one and there was always some kid with a backpack full that would sell you one for $5. I wonder how many people still have them. And the WWJD bracelets. As if any of us ever actually asked ourselves that while wearing them. I came here to say, Popples. Apparently I bugged the crap out of my parents for months until they finally bought me a Popple. Must have been around 1986. But the thing is, I just googled them and apparently they never went away. And there was a Netflix show about them that came out in 2015. So maybe not exactly forgotten. I don't think they deserve the longevity. But good job Popples I guess. I had the soccer ball one. And dang, that was a cool toy. Pogs. Every year at Christmas I think of them. We were poor as F. So poor that we had gifts of old and half broken toys delivered to us from a hospital drive this one year. But my mum still managed to get us stocking stuffers, and mine was full of Pogs. They were cheap ones from Woolworths and the dollar store, but I was so thrilled, and I remember sitting on her bed in my PJs and going through my stocking with my brother going through his, marveling at how rich I was and excited to go back to school because I finally had my own Pogs. There was a really cool set of sparkly zodiac sign themed ones. Boy, Pogs. I'm 35 years old and I would dearly love me some right now. I truly would. Do they still make them, I wonder? Tamagotchi. I killed so many of those things. I can't effing use you during class. Just get over it. I remember getting them in the holidays then giving them to my mum to look after when we returned to school. They never made it past the first week. I think your mother murdered your digipets. No. There's this cool farm that my parents used when I tasked them with taking care of mine. They send it to this farm and they take care of it there, and it has a really nice life. AWW. Like in Harvest M. Wait. No. A lot of people don't remember that the first Nerf products were just foam balls. Particularly the foam football. Every kid had a Nerf football, and some kids had the Nerf Vortex. And the coolest kids had the whistling Nerf Vortex. It really was amazing cause it was a football that you could throw in your house. I don't hear creepy crawlers get mentioned often. My brain custodian just gave a deep sigh as he had to dust off that jingle from my brain. So thanks for that from the both of us. Cabbage Patch dolls. People actually killed each other over these. Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Flick it. Those animatronic cats and puppies called furry friends or pets. It's been a while. I had a puppy that would breathe while it slept. There were cats that would purr. They were essentially baby's first pet. I still have one of those. I named her Violet because her fur looked dull purple instead of grey. She also had a little fish treat you could feed her. Loom bands. I ripped all 10 of my fingers trying to make something with those. Mr. Bucket. Crossfire. Light Bright. Polly Pocket. OMG, the dream date game, you had a fake phone. I got my BF a Litter Bright for Christmas last year. He is 25. He loved it. Yo-yos. Everyone had them. Trying out new tricks and Tiger electronic handheld. They were so simple and bad, but always a gift to birthdays. I liked the Tiger electronics. Family was too poor for a Gamma Boy, so this was my only alternative. Marbles. I remember I was at a $1 store where they sold bags of 25 of those. Wanna guess what 7-year-old me did with his money that day? I still have a box full of marbles. Although I lost or gave away most of them. Similar to that. As a young kid I collected bouncy balls. Like back when Hollywood Video and Blockbuster were a thing, they always had a quarter machine filled with different bouncy balls. So every weekend, when my mom would rent movies, I got one bouncy ball per movie. Little did she know I had a plan that never came to, and I grew out of, that once I collected enough I was gonna get in the bathtub and have someone cover me with bouncy balls and see what would happen. At first it was an odd collecting hobby that turned into something so weird. Kids are effing insane, man, lol. I wanna say Bionicles, but my friend and I were the only ones who really liked them growing up. Bionicle is like one of the most well-known toy line ever. Bionicles literally saved Lego from bankruptcy too. Beyblade. Man. I used to effing love Beyblade. Me and my buddy got some of the new ones a couple months ago for the lulz, and it didn't hit the same at all. Completely destroyed my mom's walk with them. Uncle Roger would be very sad. Boglins. I don't recall them being especially popular, but they were damn cool. Those rubber bands shaped like animals, and yes, they were going wild. Silly bands.